For the sake of not having to repeat myself over and over and over again when it comes to these upcoming videos, I'm just going to do this video now to explain all of that. And then if people have any questions or comments, concerns, or hate they want to throw at me, they can just refer to this video for the explanation. I know the explanation alone won't be enough for a lot of these people because they'll just call me a liar or whatever, but this is the best I can do, is explain the situation and go ahead with my story and move on from that. The first thing I want to address is that 10 years ago, when I was actually in contact with Jennifer and her partner, Hannibal, whoever this person is, they told me in a one-on-one conversation that they were not transgender and they didn't have any plans of transitioning or living as a male legally. I'm saying this because this was a one-on-one conversation. No one else was there when this happened. So, unless this person comes forward and says that I'm a liar and they never said that, then that's just what they said. I'm not denying their trans identity. I'm not being transphobic. I am saying what this person said to me. Could they have been lying to me? Yes, they could have. Could they have changed their minds in 10 years? Yes, they could have. If any of this happened, I don't have that information. But more importantly, nobody who's calling me transphobic has that information either. Trust me, they don't, because nobody knows who this Hannibal person is. And to my knowledge, they have not come forward to say anything about this. For all I know, they're still with Jennifer. Another thing is that Lauren, at the time that I met her and was talking with her, she identified as female and her sexuality was asexual. When she went on to go live with Jennifer, she cut off all her hair and she was going by male pronouns, he, him. She did not start out that way, nor did she ever show any signs that she was trans or wanted to be transgender or anything like that. And I spoke to her family who said the same thing. I spoke to dozens of her friends who said the same thing. I spoke to a friend of hers who is transgender and who did say that Lauren never had these feelings or expressed these thoughts of being trans. Lauren herself initially expressed being very uncomfortable around Jennifer because Jennifer refused to acknowledge that she was female, refused to call her by her real name, and just called her Frederick Chilton because that was the character she was assigned when she met Jennifer, and that's who Jennifer wanted her to be as a sexual partner. Jennifer did push this onto Lauren, and at the time when all of this was going on, the only times that I knew of that Lauren was okay with this was when she was with Jennifer, and only because Jennifer would get so upset if she didn't agree with it or didn't respond to it or whatever the hell. That was how I knew the situation to be. That was what I saw happen. That's what was reported to me. That's what I heard. Once again, this is 10 years ago. So could things have changed? Yes. Could I have missed some information somewhere? Possible. But the fact of the matter is that the information that I was given directly, either by Lauren, her family, or her friends, contradicts the narrative that Lauren was or is transgender or ever intended to become male or live as a man. All of that is contradicted by the information that I currently have. Now, there are people who are out there who will say that when I say things like this, that I am denying Lauren's true identity, I'm denying Lauren's trans identity, that I'm denying other people's trans identity, and that I refuse to accept transgender people for who they are, or that being transgender is real. Except for the fact that I don't. I am literally just reporting what was told to me. And that was what was told to me in conversations that these detractors never heard and were never a part of and weren't there for and weren't told themselves. So I don't know how they can tell me that I'm wrong or that I'm denying somebody their trans identity because I'm repeating a conversation that I had with that person where they said that they aren't transgender, but I'm not doing that. The people that I know currently who are transgender, I respect that, okay? If they want to go by different pronouns or whatever, I respect that. I have no problem with trans people whatsoever. I am just telling a story the way that it happened. And there are several people that I've mentioned in this story that are trans, and I've used their proper pronouns because that's what they want. So if I was as transphobic as these people are making me out to be, wouldn't I not do that? I mean, I refer to Roxy's partner as her ex-boyfriend because he's a male. And I refer to other people by they, them as much as possible because I know that those are their preferred pronouns. Obviously, I'm not trying to deny anybody's trans identity, and I'm not trying to say something that is transphobic. I am just repeating a story that was told to me many years ago in conversations that I had many years ago. And people really need to consider that if they weren't part of these conversations, they have no right to say what is or isn't accurate because they didn't hear them. And most importantly, if you're trying to judge me by something that happened 10 years ago that you weren't even a part of because you want to cancel me and ruin my life and call me transphobic, you're being ridiculous because it was 10 years ago. I fully admit that the situation could have changed. I fully admit that I could have been given misinformation. I fully admit that these people could have lied to me. I don't know because that's not what they told me. And I am not going to sit here and pretend like I'm sorry about these things or even apologize for it because I don't have information to confirm or deny any of this. And there are people out there who will tell you that they have this proof and they have this information, but then they won't share it. Because anybody who's in this group that I'm talking about, if you go in there and you try to ask them for any of this evidence or whatever, they say they have it, but they can't share it because it's sensitive information and they're trying to be private and keep things private and whatever. But they definitely have it and they've definitely seen it, and you should just trust them that they know everything and that I'm wrong. So if you're going to trust people like that, then you're probably not a good fit for this channel in the first place, because if you don't need evidence and you'll just listen to people with a bunch of confirmation bias and people who think that literally everything is transphobic if it doesn't go with their narrative, then I don't think you should be here on this channel, because that is not at all what I'm trying to portray or even anything I'm trying to say. I'm just reporting what I remember and what happened. The last thing that I want to address is the extensive discussion around my gender. And that is happening on forums everywhere. It's happening in a Discord that I know about, where people keep saying that the reason why I'm so quote unquote transphobic is because I'm transgender myself and I'm trying to hide it, which I'm not. I am biologically female. If I was transgender, I would just say that because I don't think there's anything wrong with being transgender. I also don't think it's fair that people are having these speculative conversations on what they think my gender identity is, what they think my biological sex is, and all of this stuff. But if I just merely say that I had this conversation with this person and they told me that they're not trans, and they are allowed to just lose their fucking minds because of a conversation they weren't even a part of, like, how is that fair? How is any of that comparable? And why does it matter? If I happen to be transgender, would it change what I was saying? Would people believe me more? Do I get more credibility if I say that I'm transgender or something? Because I don't even know why this is a point of discussion with these people, but they literally would rather discuss any other topic in the universe than discuss the fact that they pretty much allowed Jennifer to get away with what she did, because they would rather spend their time attacking, doxing, harassing, and terrorizing me than doing anything about this problem. These people are the reason why Jennifer got away with it, because they ignored what she was doing in favor of attacking me instead of doing literally anything helpful at the time. So those aren't the people that you want to listen to. Those are people who are still attacking me to this day for shit that happened 10 years ago. I don't know why anybody listens to them or believes them, especially with their insane lack of proof. But my advice would be to understand that these conversations and this information that I am giving happened between a limited group of people in a limited setting, and none of these people who are calling me a liar were part of this. None of them. They don't know what they're talking about. They don't know what was in these conversations. They didn't hear anything. They're just living in a fantasy world, and they're trying to demonize me for whatever fucking reason they have, because my story doesn't fit the narrative that they want it to fit.